I'm really excited today to have really one of my good friends and industry leaders, Rosario Terracciano. Over the last couple of years, people have been asking me, Gary, how do we get access to properties? Where is all this inventory? How can we find more deals? And if we look back 4 or 5 years ago, all of us, there were plenty of deals, but there just wasn't money available. Now it's come full circle. There's money around every corner, but we're just not able to find those deals like we used to through traditional methods. And Rosario, who's a really good friend of mine, I'm having him on here today to kind of take us through what the market conditions are. Rosario, welcome.
Thanks a lot, Gary. Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
So Rosario is the co-founder of Click Invest, which is an online platform designed to help investors source properties. And let me just tell you a little bit about Rosario. Rosario has been focused on investment real estate since 2003. Actually, Rosario is one of the biggest REO brokers in the country, worked for a company called Invitation Homes, which is a very, very large publicly traded hedge fund. He's got his finger on the pulse of the Illinois market. He's sold over 2,600 transactions. That's incredible. 2,600, is that right, Rosario?
Yeah, 2,600. I don't know where the money went, but yeah, 2,600.
That is unbelievable. Actually, in 2013, he was ranked nationally by the Wall Street Journal for units sold. I don't think I've ever been in the Wall Street Journal, so that's pretty cool.
Thanks, man. Yes, we were first in the state of Illinois, ranked 4th nationally. We sold 640 homes that year, so it was exciting. A lot of work, but exciting for sure.
So more than 2 per day, and that includes the weekends.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. So in 2017, kind of in response to the market and the properties being tight, I know I've always known Rosario to be like extremely systems oriented. The guy's got a knack for computers, a knack for just analyzing analytics, and he launched Click Invest in 2017. And you're sending out over 100 deals now per week to investors?
Yep. Yeah. To our investor community, we're sending out 100. I mean, some weeks upwards up to about 120 deals per week. Yeah. That's
crazy. And that's in an environment where all of us are complaining that there's absolutely no deals. So you're finding these deals to send out to investors. I'd really like to learn more about that. Can you take us through what the market conditions are and what's going on?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll dive into it. So you see all the stats, and I always refer to stats as the fluff, right? So in those years, we were doing a ton of volume, but the market was totally different, right? There was a lot of inventory, like you mentioned, out there. And what we learned through dealing with those big hedge funds and dealing with the banks is to do volume, you need systems. So we decided to build Click Invest out, and like you mentioned, we're sending out over 100 deals per week. But the reason this all came about, inventory is down. Okay, so just in the Chicagoland market alone, total inventory, single family inventory is down 22% in just the last 2 years. Okay, now that's total single family inventory. Distressed inventory, those are the properties that you and I have dealt with for a long time, right? The REOs, foreclosures, short sales, that's down 60% over the same time period. So a lot of our mutual clients.
60%, wow, that's crazy.
I mean, and that's the space where our mutual clients play, right? I mean, they're all looking for REOs, they're all looking for short sales and estate sales. So distressed inventory down 60%. So that's an alarming figure for sure.
So, it's interesting when I'm looking at this, Rosario, it's kind of like back, 3 or 4 years ago, I'm a big fisherman. So I think about if you go to a lake and there's a ton of fish, it really doesn't matter what bait you cast out in the lake, you're going to catch a fish. Now, looks like we have to be much, much more purposeful about what we're doing and systems to attract these properties.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, you're putting in more time, which leads to the next slide. So a lot of guys that we're working with, they're doing less. per year. So I think of, guys that were doing 5 flips a year, 6 flips a year. And now, I mean, this crazy stat we came across, I mean, the average flip per investor is at a 9-year low. So if that same client of ours is used to doing 5 flips per year, now they're only doing 4, or even worse, 3. So they're trying to be more purposeful in where they're looking. But I mean, when the inventory is that tight, you're just spinning your wheels. So
they're using the same exact bait to catch the fish from 4 years ago, and it's just the fish have moved to a different part of the pond, and we got to use a different type of bait. I think that's
you look at you whipping the fishing, and I love it. But I mean, you're right on point. You look at Uber, look at all these companies that have hit the market in recent years, and it's the market, the whole world as we know it is shifting, and the old way of doing things in a lot of industries just doesn't apply anymore. So it's not as impactful as it was before.
So what do investors need to be doing?
So definitely, I don't want to say what what they're having to do, right, is putting more time. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, that time is resulting in a lower ROT, return on time, because it doesn't matter how much time you're putting in. It's like you said with the bait, right? You're going and you're fishing these ponds with the same bait. Doesn't mean you're going to catch anything, but you're still going out there spending all day trying to catch a fish. And what we've seen with our clients is they're coming across Click Invest, and when we have our intro call, some guys are spending 20 to 30 hours a week looking for a deal and not finding anything. So think about your return on time. If you're putting in, twice as much time to find a deal, or 3 times as much of your time to find a deal, and your return on time is getting crushed. So,
it's funny. I was listening to you speak the other night at Andrew Holmes' Chicago Real Estate Investor Association meeting, which is the top real estate investor association in Chicagoland, and there was an investor there that raised his hand and said that he had spent over a year trying to locate, source, and buy a property, and he hadn't had any luck, and he started to use Click Invest, and he's already had 2 deals accepted.
Yeah, and I was cracking.
What is this Click Invest everyone keeps talking about?
I was cracking up because you're like, you planted them. And I didn't even know he had 2 deals accepted. I just know he had signed up recently, and I'm like, hey, so what do you think? And he's like, I got 2 deals accepted, and I'm like, wow, I didn't even know. So yeah, I mean that happened. I don't want to, that's not a typical case or scenario. I mean, to get a deal locked up that fast, but yeah, we're having clients get deals all the time. I mean, we had a client started out 3 years ago, 2016. He did 15 flips. He signed up with us towards the end of 2016, and then last year he did 33 flips. So we helped double his business at a time when you saw that stat. During that same time period, people are doing less, and this guy doubled his business. So
yeah, when I saw that the other night, Rosario, I'm like, I have to get Rosario on a webinar with my clients because I owe it to them as their attorney. It's my fiduciary responsibility to provide them with the best resources, to provide them with the best people that can give them the information on how to locate these properties, whether it's Click Invest or other sources of investment deals. I know, that's, you and I talked about this. It's not the only tool. It's not the magic wand, but it is definitely one of the tools that we're using.
Yeah, and thanks for the segue. I'll dive right into that. So I tell people all the time, I mean, I'm not here to say, hey, Click Invest is a silver bullet. This is a tool that will solve all your problems. Now you can, go to sleep at night and deals are going to flow into your portfolio and cash is just going to roll into your bank account and you don't have to no. I mean, you still got to work, right? At the end of the day, you still got to bust your butt. You still got to work. That's the nature of the beast that we're all playing in, or that we're all working in. So, but we feel, Click Invest is a great source for the experienced investor that's looking for product, but it's one of your sources. It's not the beginning and the end, right? Here's how a lot of our mutual clients are looking for deals today, right? So internet sites, online auctions, wholesalers. Some guys are doing direct mail where they're spending 10 to 20K a month just doing direct mail. Or they're working with the Frank Montros of the world, right? So on the broker side, where Frank's bringing them off market opportunities, stuff like that. So you've got multiple ponds that you're fishing in. The investor we keep coming back to the ponds, Gary. See what you started?
I love it. It's springtime. The fish are spawning.
Yeah. So you have to be fishing, or you have to be looking in multiple ponds for your deals. Okay. If you want to get in this business and you're only sourcing or looking in one pond, you're gonna hurt yourself, or you're gonna chop your legs off, because at some point that pond's gonna dry up. So this is how most of our clients are looking for deals. I'll dive into internet sites since that's the most common, that most investors are setting up searches on Redfin, or they have an MLS search set up, right, through their own login or through a broker's or assistant login, whatever. So what most guys are doing is they set up a search, but these sites, Gary, are not set up for investors. Have you played on Redfin?
Just a little.
Okay. So Redfin, Zillow, Trulia, all those sites are made for traditional buyers and sellers. Okay. They're not made for investors. So if you're an investor and you're going into Redfin to try to identify investment opportunity, you're going to get lost, because Redfin's not focused on you. Redfin's focused on the entire market and traditional buyers and sellers. So regardless, you would set up your own search. You would then go through and drop deals into an analyzer, or if you're working with a broker, that broker's got to go through 30,000 detached single-family homes to find opportunities for you, right? And most brokers aren't set up to work with investors. They're working with traditional buyers and sellers, okay? So you would find a deal, you would drop it into one of your countless analyzers. I'm sure a lot of your guys are used to seeing that. I mean, they've got to pull deals and drop it into an analyzer, and then we were talking about this that the other night, right? The deal analyzer.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's how you determine if a deal is legit or not. So they pull a property, they drop it into their analyzer. And after you drop it into your analyzer, you've got to figure out what's the back end value on this property. So you have to call your broker. After you get that back end value, you still have to run through the property and figure out a rehab budget. So you're meeting with your contractor. And then when you get to the property, there's 15 other investors there. Okay, that's how tight our market is right now.
It's funny because I have investors call me all the time complaining about, by the time they get out there, there's already been so many people through these properties. So let me get this straight on what you're saying. What I've found with a lot of people who are sourcing properties, or with the brokers they're working with, is the broker approaches it just like a retail customer, and they say, where do you want to buy? How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? And then all of a sudden they get you on an automatic internet search, and you're getting these properties, 20, 30, 40 properties per day that match your criteria based on location and type of product. It sounds like what you're doing is you're saying, let's bake in this recipe what kind of a return on your investment that you're looking for, so that we can do that scrub for you, the properties that meet your investment criteria. Yes,
it would be, I like to always compare it to the stock market, right? It'd be the equivalent of, or comparing it to, let's say you want to invest in stocks, and where do you start? So you go on some website, and they just give you a list of thousands of stocks to choose from. You're like, well, what about my, what's my investment objective? What about my goals, and my strategy? None of that is defined. You're just getting a list of thousands of stocks to pick from, and you're like, here's a day to figure it out. Working with ClickInvest is like working with Charles Schwab, right? Where you're coming to us and you're inputting your parameters, your profile. What are your goals this year? You know, what kind of return on investment you're looking for? What's your cost of capital? How much money are you working with? And then those deals are being filtered down, selected for you, and then all the analysis is attached to it and then sent to you, so that you don't have to sort through thousands of properties. You can just go through the ones that make sense for you and for what you're looking to do, and then make a decision within a minute or two.
And I was looking at that when you presented the other night, and it comes to me on my telephone or my tablet or my computer, and I literally just hit click, submit offer.
That's it. Yeah. So I'll run through these slides really quick, but I'm sure, I mean, a lot of you guys are used to this, but you're submitting offers, deals are gone. I mean, a lot of times nowadays it's gone to one of our clients, but you're spending all this time, energy, aggravation over one listing. So what ClickInvest does, I'll just nail these points down. You're getting deals sent directly to your inbox based on what you're looking for. Okay, all the information is there so you can make a decision quickly. The rehab estimate, because in a typical transaction, you have to find out what the ARV is, the after repair value, so you'd have to go to a broker. You'd have to find out what your rehab estimate is, so you would have to walk the property with a contractor. And then you'd still have to figure out, well, where should I even start? Where should I submit my offer at? So we're giving you all that information. And we can do that because between my partner and I, so my partner, Jeff Kirshner, ran operations for Invitation Homes. Between the two of us, we've done over 6,000 transactions. So with all the data and all the experience that we have, we've baked that experience in our brain power into the system so that we can get rough estimates done without ever walking that property. Just, I mean, it's experience. And when you go through 100,000 valuations to buy 6,000 properties, you can do that. So
let me ask you, Rosario, so one of the big complaints that my clients have is that when the property comes out and by the time they do the research or their realtor does the research or they go out to the property, those properties, the good properties, are already gone, and the 15 people are on those steps. So really this underwriting, the day that deal hits the MLS, you're underwriting it, sending it out to the client, and the client just, again, they hit that click button and submit. So they're beating everybody to the punch. That's really where my clients, before you and I started working together on ClickInvest, they just weren't seeing those deals.
Yep. Yeah, we have mutual clients that have flat out said, you know, if it wasn't for ClickInvest, they would have quit 2 years ago. You know, because there's just not enough. It was just becoming too hard to do and too time consuming. Because you got to think, if you're a rehabber, this is just one piece of the puzzle. It's just finding the deal. What about, you know, the construction aspect? What about going out to the property every day and managing the project, and then balancing, if you've got rentals, balancing your rental portfolio? And then what about balancing your hard money cost and then making payments, and, you know, and then going to villages to get permits, and then, oh, now you're wrapping up and you got to do village inspections, and then you got to list. There's all these other things. If finding a deal is taking you 20 to 30 hours of your week, or taking up 20 to 30, when are you going to do everything else? So, I mean, our goal was to cut it down from 20 to 30 hours a week to an hour a week. That was our goal. Let us put everything on a silver platter for you, so that over the course of an hour, you know, over the course of 1 week, you shouldn't be spending more than an hour submitting 20 to 30 offers, because it's a numbers game. And out of the 20, 30 offers, you should get 1 to 2 deals. That's how we work it out. That's how the numbers work.
That's awesome.
So you get all the information, you review, you click right from your phone, offer goes in. That's really it for ClickInvest. So we stress this all the time. It's real estate investments direct to your inbox, not listings. Because a lot of guys, whether they're working with brokers or wholesalers, they're getting listings sent to them. You know, who's doing the valuation? Who's doing the analysis? You know, that's like going to a doctor that practices a certain type of medicine for something that he doesn't do, right? So if the average broker if you take into consideration the top 1%, the average broker does 4 to 6 deals a year. Okay. If you remove the top 1%, the average broker does 1 to 2 deals a year. So you're gonna bet your next deal on somebody that's, one, never flipped, and two, I mean, does 2 deals a year. And you're gonna risk a couple $100,000 on their expertise and their analysis. So, we feel there's a big difference between real estate investments and listings, and that's where we like to stay on the real estate side.
It's funny because when Ron Plonis, I think he was, kind of at the beginning with you with this, Rosario, and yep. Ron owns Exodus One as well as a few other companies, probably one of the top investors in the Chicagoland area. He and I have, closed maybe 500 to 600 units over the course of the last 4 or 5 years. Ron's one of the smartest guys I know, and he can underwrite a deal in his head in 5 seconds flat, and he's using Click Invest.
Yeah.
So when I heard that he was using Click Invest, I'm like, hey guys, if you haven't listened or heard anything else, this guy knows what he's doing, and he's using Rosario's product. That's a game changer because this guy is very sophisticated, and he's viewing this as one of his tools in his tool belt to use to find and source properties. I think that right there says a lot. Thanks,
man. So proof, right? Because everybody always wants to see the proof. They're like, yeah, that sounds great. This is just some stats. So, we're up 124% over the same time period, meaning the deals we've sent out. So over the course of 1 year, inventory is dropping. The average flip per investor is dropping. We're sending out more deals today than we've ever had. So our system continues to get refined. All those buckets I shared earlier about all the different ponds you can go looking for deals in, we look for deals in all those ponds. So it's not just MLS. We have wholesalers we work with. We have off-market opportunities that get brought to us. We're one of the biggest broker partners of the Cook County Land Bank Authority in the state. So we have all these different sources where we're looking for deals in or getting deals from, and then running it through our system and then sending it out to our clients. Here's some actual deals. The first few are some rentals. So a lot of these are from mastery students from Andrew Holmes's program. This was a deal in Plainfield, bought for $88,000, rented out for $14.95. Now, I'm not a mathematician, but I think those numbers work when you look at what your mortgage is going to be, compared to what your cash flow is. So this is a rental, and I want to stress that too. We don't just do flips; we also have rentals. So we exist for the guy that's flipping, X amount of deals per year, or the guy that's looking to build his rental portfolio. Okay.
And I just want to point something out here when you're flipping through these slides, Rosario. The reason that I wanted to come on with me today, Rosario and I have no business relationship. We have clients in common, but there's no money exchanges hands. I refer clients to Rosario. Rosario refers clients to me. This is all about providing value. If you go through on clickinvest.com, the video that kind of takes you through a 5-minute, which is going to be better than any webinar that Rosario and I can do, you're actually seeing when these things come to your inbox, the return on investment. It shows you your actual numbers so that you can see for yourself at $14.95 based on whether you're buying the property cash, based on whether you're using a lender. It bakes in all those numbers to tell you exactly when you're sitting on your phone, you're out to dinner with your wife, and you look at it and you want to hit click submit, it shows you your exact return on value. It's awesome. So you don't even have to, when you're looking at these slides, you're going to see when it comes to you to tell you everything about what you need to know about that property and whether it's a green light or a red light.
Let me, you want me to go through, it's 1 minute long.
Yeah,
you want me to blow through that? Okay. Let me pull this up.
Because when I saw that the other night, I'm like, wow, that is so cool.
Thank you, dude. So when you get a deal sent to you, it drops in your inbox. This one's a rental, okay? All the analysis is done. The ARV, so the after repair value, is already calculated for you. The rehab is calculated for you. The rent is calculated for you. And then the suggested offer is calculated for you. Now, keep in mind, this isn't just a system with algorithms, right? We have an analyst that reviews every deal before it goes out. Every single deal before it goes out is being reviewed by an analyst. So it's not just the system spitting out the numbers. The system filters, and then the analyst does a final and then sends it out. So when you're getting these,
see me, but my finger here, see that right there, that finger, that's pointing to that gray box, people. That box is so cool. Look at that. Return on investment, 10.84%.
Yep. So this is telling you what your returns are. I'm going to just hit play here and it's going to just run. But your returns are here. Is this thing even moving? It's probably not moving. Oh, there it is. Okay. So you can click through the pictures. Okay. You can click through the pictures. You can click on Street View, takes you right to Google. Your returns are there. Beneath there, you've got the MLS info. Oh, I'm falling behind here. There's the rent. There's the offer, everything I explained before. Then you've got the details of the property. Then you've got your investment assumption. So this is what you fill out for yourself, right? So you enter that into your profile, and then it bakes it in. When you brought up the word bake, right? It bakes it into every single deal that comes to you. So you're seeing all your numbers, okay, on every single deal. Then you scroll down and it's got all the comps and everything. But the biggest kicker in all this, aside from all the data, aside from the comps, because everything is there to justify what we're saying, right? Because you need to be able to see the data. But aside from all that, you can go into the comps, look through the pictures, look at all the MLS information. And then if this is a deal you want to go after, you just click submit offer. Those fields are populated, offer went in, done. That's it.
That's so cool. That's just awesome. So, you know, if this is not sinking in yet for people, you know, again, using that pond analogy, it's springtime, we're fishing. If you're sitting there with a night crawler and a bobber and just engaging in a strategy of hope, and if the fish haven't hit your hit your line for 2 hours, nothing is going to change. You need to have multiple sources, fish in multiple ponds, and this particular product is just, it's completely transformed for my clients, their ability to source properties. I don't know how you did this, Rosario. I know you're kind of geeky on this algorithm and computer stuff. I'm trying to learn. You taught me how to do webinars. This is really cool.
Thanks, man. And this is just a bunch of cases. Look, you guys can reach out to me directly. I could send you all the proof cases you want. At the end of the day, we have mutual clients, Gary, like you mentioned. They're using this. And they're getting deals. But again, it's not the only source, right? You want to be fishing multiple ponds. But we believe in it. You know, if you ask us what our why is our why is to give you your time back, because a lot of us we get into real estate for freedom. We want to spend more time with our kids. We want to watch our kids grow up. And I'm sorry, when I'm talking to investors every day and the biggest complaint is, well, I'm spending 20 to 30 hours a week trying to find a deal. Guess when they're spending time trying to find that deal? It's early mornings or late at night when they should be focusing on either themselves or on their family, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's working and we love doing what we do. So
Rosario, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, how do they find you?
I should have it somewhere on you'd think I would have it on my slide, right? Let me see if there we go. Okay. So you can contact me directly. Huh?
See how I rolled right into that for you?
Yeah, you're awesome. So I always forget that part. I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, if you want to use it, call me. Rosario at clickinvest.com. That's my direct email. And then my phone number is up there as well, 708-369-3151. I love talking to investors, so feel free to reach out to me directly.
Guys, take down Rosario's information. If you don't know Rosario, you need to know him. A lot of my clients already use him. A lot of my clients are starting to sign up with him. He works well with your broker. You don't have to worry about interference with relationships. He is a supplement. He's not a replacement for your real estate broker. So that's the other thing that's important. Rosario, thanks for coming on, and look forward to seeing you soon here.
Thanks again, man. I appreciate it, Gary.
Okay.
Thanks, dude.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. So